Da 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 da
Boom, boom.
da 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 da
Boom, boom.
da 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 da.
Da-da-da.
Wow, that was goddamn. Give us Grammys right now. All right, greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
And Monkey.
and welcome to the great Universal Ranking Podcast. That's right. It is the third season of the Great Ranking Podcast. I'm actually quite happy with this being an ongoing thing, Monkey.
Yeah.
So of course we
Congrats on
started, and I'm actually glad that it worked out that I'm able to have like different co-hosts for each of them too. So we started out, of course, with the great Disney Ranking Podcast with Dragon. That was an endeavor, man. That was a lot of fun. Going through all 60 animated Walt Disney Animation Studios movies, and of course Joker's Wild and I did the Walt Disney World attractions. And Monkey, I'm actually really excited about this one because this is going to be, first of all, it's a nice little like, okay, we don't have to do 6 parts. This just doesn't have to be spread over like, over a month's worth of content.
Right.
But I don't know, I just like Universal Orlando. I am going to be one of the I feel like for as little influences I have in the overall, Disney nerd culture sphere, I do not have much influence at all. But I would like to think that I am a champion of like, okay, like, especially after my most recent trip, I just think that Universal Orlando, I mean, it like not even barring any of the, any of the corporate stuff going down at Disney, I just think, like Universal Orlando at this point is just like, not even including Epic Universe or the corporate stuff. They're just, the experience is just better than Disney World, just straight up, I think. And Monkey, I feel like you're a very appropriate person to do this with because I remember you're kind of a trendsetter, sir. You know why you're a trendsetter?
Oh, yeah. Like,
Because you took a Universal trip to Florida without going to Disney.
Disney World.
Back before it was cool, my friend.
Yeah, it was like that moment where I realized, I'm still sentimental and got some fondness for Disney myself,
Of
for
course.
that resort. But it's like that moment of like, well, would it be cool to get to Universal Orlando someday? But I'd probably be piggybacking it up, like adding it just somewhere in the middle of a Disney World trip, and who knows if that's affordable. Wait a minute. What if I did Universal separately? Because there's not as much to do there, so it could mean a shorter trip and also hopefully a less costly trip than Disney. Oh,
less
that is an idea.
Yeah, I just think Universal Orlando is just kind of like, I honestly think it's like the perfect resort right now with the 2 parks, and like Epic Universe is going to just vaulted into the stratosphere. You got Volcano Bay, which, I mean, I'm not a water park guy at all, but if you are into water parks, Volcano Bay it's got to be one of the best ones out there. I mean,
I'm not a water park person either as much these years, like for however long now, but yeah, it is nice to have a volcano there.
Yeah, it's just all around, just, and the hotels, I really do think, I don't think they're as iconic as like, the Disney World Deluxe resorts or anything.
Not necessarily, and I'm still miffed about the redesign of the Royal Pacific Lobby. Downgrade.
You sounded like such a genuine snob there.
That's the idea.
Cabana Bay slaps. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
and I will say that Endless Summer, the Endless Summer resorts are far, far, far better than the All-Star resorts. Far better. Far better.
Yeah.
And I like the All-Star resorts. Like, I actually genuinely didn't mind staying at All-Star Music. I thought it was decent. I thought it was actually really good for the price, but still. Anyways, enough with the corporate praising. Y'all know I'm a Universal guy now. I actually think, Monkey, it's kind of been coming to my attention. I really think we should do some sort of like weekly news show, kind of just covering theme park news, but just, I don't know. I want to get this channel back into theme parks. Anyways.
I'm not sold on it, but that's an idea.
Theme Park Priest is in comments. He says, looking forward to this new set of rankings.
This will be fun, Theme Park Priest.
ZNK Channel's also here, says,
I get that reference, ZNK. I get that reference.
Where we're going, there won't be that many
rides.
Well, I mean, compared to Universal Hollywood, it's a ton of rides, but I digress.
Yeah. Either way, I still got to be Doc Brown, bitches.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. That we are looking at the honorary Doc Brown for a year, according to Tony Goldmark.
Podcast I have since plugged this channel on.
Indeed. Theme Park Priest says, I'm not a water park person either. More theme park stuff on here! ! Yeah, Theme Park Priest. I want to make it happen. I honestly think the theme park industry right now is at a point where weekly news recaps of stuff going on I feel like I could get content out of that, just because like the theme park industry is moving at a pretty rapid pace right now with everything.
We have like a Steve Kornacki board.
Oh God. Anyways. So Monkey, yes, Universal. It's going to be fun. Let's just dive into it. Of course, we're doing
just little disclosure here.
Sure.
So
you've
been there more recently than I, so you've gotten to experience a few more things than I've gotten to. So like, little full disclosure here, some of these are things that I haven't gotten to do as much as others, or like maybe I only got to do them like back when I went in 2015.
Or in the case of one thing in particular, you're doing you're basing it off of your experience with Hollywood and the pre-show footage that you've seen.
Yeah, so the stuff that Universal, just to make it clear, like lay it on the table, that I have not done are Fast and Furious Supercharged, Velocicoaster, Born Stuntacular, Run It on Flyers, and the Five Volts Playland water slide.
The water slide. I forget that's there, man. I never got a chance to do that. Okay, so Velocicoaster, right out of the way, elephant out of the room, is not going to be on this list. Gasp! Shocker! I know. The reason is I just think Velocicoaster, honestly, like just as a coaster, it's going to be a star player in the next ranking that we're going to do, which is probably going to be the coaster ranking with Space Mountain. Space Mountain wants to do that with me, but it's going to have to be after his trip. He's going somewhere. I forget where. Oh, he's going to Busch Gardens after he gets back from Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Yeah, sounds like a fair shake up in the placement of it.
Yeah. So Velocicoaster will have its time to shine, but suffice to say, obviously, it would be very high on this list if I was including it.
I definitely plan to do it whenever I get back. It's just going to be a question of, well, okay, how rough are you?
It's the smoothest thing you've ever experienced. It's not rough at all. Like Hagrid's is more rough than that. So let's see. Get into the comments here. I'm sorry, guys. This is kind of an all over the place intro. We have Itchy Lot Productions who says it's weekend update with Monkey and Tiki. We need stuff that can do better than we need stuff that can do better than Inside the Magic or WDW News Today. Well, ZNK, one thing I can tell you with that, y'all know with me, I would be very, very open with my opinions. I would not, I have no illusions of ever getting the Disney red carpet treatment. So, I would be very actively critical, and I feel like that is the kind of theme park coverage that we need more of, not just like coaster boys geeking out about the newest coaster. All due respect to the coaster boys, I am a coaster boy. I'm an elder coaster boy, but I am still a coaster boy. But or
elder
just like
coaster boy coming to your door asking you to read a book.
Have you heard the good word of Intamin? Okay.
And I probably wouldn't be as outspoken critical, so oh my dynamics. Country.
Right. Theme Park Priest says, the rides I haven't done, Hagrid's, Harry Potter and Escape from Gringotts, Reign of Kong, Riptide Rocket, Forbidden Journey. Wait, Priest, I'm not gonna list your whole list. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna read your whole list as a comment. I'm sorry. Those guys are more obviously misleading clickbait than that. Yeah, for sure. Theme Park Priest says, I am an elder coaster man. I'm a man, Sponge. A man. All right.
Well, they do have a cool story.
Not a big man, just a man. I realized I misquoted that. Anyways, God, let's just dive right into it. Let's just dive right. Oh, I'm sorry. No, we're not even through the disclaimer yet. God, I'm sorry, folks. This is an all over the place intro, but I am excited.
Well, it kind of works because you look at the two Universal parks; their map is all over the place the way it's spread out.
Okay, so Born Stuntacular, I think, is going to be the biggest casualty of just the fact that that you have not been there recently. Just because it would honestly probably be in my. I'd have to go back and re-rank everything. It'd probably be in my top 10 if I were to put it on, but yeah, I just can't talk about it. Monkey, it's something like you need to like. I literally can't say a thing about the technology without getting into spoiler territory. Like you need to see it for yourself.
Okay. Yeah, they were like, I think, still testing it when I was there. So
Yeah, no, I remember when we were there. There was like one point where you like, wait, it looks like they're gonna do a test run or something like that. Like I don't know, like we went to it at one point, seeing if it was going to be open. So it was very close to being open when we were there. So, anyways, let's just dive right into it. Any more disclaimers, Monkey?
we're leaving out. I know we're leaving out animal actors and playgrounds. Sorry, George.
Yeah, we're leaving out animal actors. If I ran the zoo, most of the Kids Land stuff outside of Woody Woodpecker's House Coaster and ET. Let's see the Camp Jurassic stuff, including Pteranodon Flyers.
Me Ship the Olive.
Yeah, Me Ship the Olive is the one that I kind of wanted to include just because I really like the placemaking of that. But anyways,
yeah, the area around it is really nice. Nice sort of out of the way, relax area.
Yeah. So let's get into it, Monkey. I'm going to start us off. My number 30, the worst attraction in Universal Orlando, in my humble opinion, that I did one time on the last trip just to actually gauge an opinion of it, is Stormforce Accelatron.
Okay.
That's this fair. Thing, like, obviously it's just a spinning teacup ride, but it still did nothing for me. And honestly, like, as a California person, I understand why Florida does it, but there's something about having a dome over teacup rides that it just, I don't know, it just feels a little bit claustrophobic. Like, I did not, especially in the humidity. I think that was probably part of the problem, is that I did this like in the middle of the day in the humidity with that open air building and the spinning. It's just not enjoyable at all for me. And I don't.
So this is the teacup dome scandal.
Right. I honestly think maybe this would not be in last place if I were to do it at night. I don't know if they have any sort of lighting effects on it. But yeah, as it stands now, I think it is pretty much the most basic flat ride. There's barely any theming except for the kind of like vaguely sci-fi aesthetic to it. I just didn't like it. I'll probably never go on it again.
All right, so shall we go to my number 30?
Yeah.
You know, in compiling this list, don't get me wrong, it's way more doable than for me than to rank everything at Disneyland Resort. That's a difficulty. But, you know, in this, I still have some toughness in choosing some stuff like this here or this there. Is this better than that? I'm not always going rationally. My number 30 is a very easy pick for last. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket.
Oh, no, sir. Ooh.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, I genuinely don't get the hate for this ride. I really don't. I've been on it like 4 times. I did it like 3 times my last trip. I don't see what's so bad about it. Like, if anything, it's a little boring because of the block breaks, but I really like, I don't know.
You know, like there are certainly things I could mention, like say the horrid queue animation or how the secret menu didn't work.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
But here's what makes it so low is that, god damn, the one time I did it, it was way too damn rough for me. Like to the point where, well, gee, there aren't any calm things I can do around here that are actually attractions. So I'm just going to wait this off, this shakiness, by just sitting in the Twister gift shop. Not pleasant for me.
Itchy Lot mentions not even the chance to write. Yeah, honestly, Itchy, when I get to my, this is going to be way higher on my list. I honestly don't. Like I said, maybe it's just like a different body type or what. I've never really had roughness on this thing. I don't. like I understand that a lot of people do, but I don't know. For me, it's fine.
That's
Anyways,
interesting.
like I think compared to something like a Vekoma SLC or something like that, it's like this is like a walk in the park. But yeah, I will obviously Monkey. I think one of the things also is that I'm way more of a music person than you are. So I think like the secret song menu and everything like that probably appeals to me a lot more.
I tried to do it when I was there. I tried to get one of those Muppet songs, but it wasn't working for me. It was just no, yeah, I wasn't letting me access it. I had to go with one of the regular songs.
Really,
Like
you
a
just tried holding
small.
it and it just wasn't there.
Yeah, I was holding it and it didn't pop up.
That sucks. I it probably just glitched out. Yeah, it worked every time I did it.
Aww.
I'm sorry. uh
Rip Ride Rocket, more like rip my heart out and rock me around ride.
all right. So yeah, that's already Monkey. Already that is like big gap in our because let's see,
I'm
yeah,
surely gonna have some hot takes in here.
oh
So
yeah. Okay, number 29 for me. Basically it's we're pretty much kicking out the flat rides, and let's just go with another one. Once again, here's the thing. Number 29 for me is Carousel. And
same.
I like the same.
Yes, that's also my
Okay,
29.
cool. What version of Rainbow Connection is it? I'm pretty sure it's the original version, ZNK.
Yeah, the one that
So
Alice Cooper did.
so here's the thing. Actually, like I've become a little bit of a carousel geek in the past year or two. I really loved the carousel that they had at Lagoon. I loved the variety of animals that was on that thing, and it just felt very old school, very old fashioned. There were a few kind of like teeter totter like seats that you could go on to, and a spinning seat, like a little teacup seat. I don't know. I really like the complexities of carousels. I think the carousel at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk is like god tier. It's genuinely the thing I did the most the last time I was there. That ring machine is just fucking amazing. But the carousel is it suffers twofold for me. One, it is just straight up uncomfortable to ride. It's probably the most uncomfortable carousel I've ridden. And I realize that I am an adult and these rides are not made for me, but I can ride the loft carousel at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk just fine, no problem at all. These are a little difficult. My bigger problem with this is honestly, I love the idea of a Seuss carousel with different Seuss creatures. But
yeah, the idea of this carousel is really good.
But they literally repeat creature designs on this thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I say that like coming at it from the perspective of someone who's like, okay, I'm kind of a carousel enthusiast now. Let's see what this carousel is. I've never actually like admired it up close, and then so I actually like went up to it and watched the cycle before I actually rode it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure what it is like there's two halves of it that are like mirrored or something like that. And I don't know, that to me that kills a lot of it, honestly.
Yeah.
But then
I
as
mean,
far as
otherwise, go on.
go ahead, sorry.
Okay, because otherwise, we have that fun little memory of us there in 2020, like wondering, okay, what should we do next? I'm like, let's maybe do the carousel. We start to walk toward it, and like within mere seconds, I'm like, no, let's not do it.
And
And you're like,
found that
that was
so
the
amusing.
fastest you've seen me decide against something.
I was like, wow, Monkey, that was like a
It's like 2020, health things are becoming a concern. So maybe it's not a great move at this moment to do the thing that all the little children are touching.
Right,
And
for sure.
for me, the reason I rank this so low is, like I said, the really cool idea of this is how like, oh, you pull like on a thing and it'll make your creature move. That's a great idea. And then the one time I did it, it's like, it was really unsatisfying in practice.
It's
like,
really
well,
cumbersome.
the thing is, this bird thing is moving its head back and forth. This isn't as cool as I'd hoped.
I remember Oh my god, you probably have the exact same childhood nostalgia as I do for this. The Travel
For what?
Channel. The Travel Channel
Oh,
documentary on Islands of Adventure, Monkey. They really
I don't know
hyped
if
up.
I'd seen it really as a child, but I definitely, of course, seen stuff in my later
I'm
years,
saying I
in my
remember
20s.
the Travel Channel in particular really hyped up, like, oh my god, it's like the next evolution of a carousel.
Yeah, I
Because of
think
the
I know what you're
movie
talking about.
components. All right. Anyways, so Monkey, I'm going to throw it to you because let's switch up the order a little bit, just because I'm crazy
Yeah,
like that. What's your number
yeah.
28?
My 28 is Stormforce Accelatron.
Oh my God. Okay.
So yeah, it's there. Some of the vehicles are purple. That's nice. I think I actually kind of don't remember that much of the actual ride experience. I think the thing that kind of hitches it up a touch for me is how you can spin them while you're waiting for the ride to start, and so it's neat and fun to sort of rotate a little so you can watch a Hulk train going by,
Yeah,
going
yeah, I
along the
feel
track.
that.
Um, so I mean, the question is, it would be amazing if they worked this into the MCU somehow.
Oh my God. What, like just the actual ride itself, or?
Yeah, I mean, like for whatever reason, they need to use this mechanism that Storm needs to use, and it's the same thing as this ride where they're
Yes,
spinning around
yes.
in the
Oh my
thing.
God. Oh, Monkey, if that is the climax to whenever the hell we get a new X-Men movie, oh my God. Oh,
That's how they're going to defeat King.
oh, Jesus. All
And
right.
he's just standing there, not actually doing anything to stop them. He's just no. Or maybe we could have some poeticness, and the Stormforce Accelatron machine is like, if you think I'm bad, wait till you meet my variants, and then it's all these other teapot type rides coming in and
Oh,
their power
jeez.
defeats King.
All right, all right. Okay, my number 28. I have a slight bit of nostalgia for this because it is technically the very first Universal Orlando attraction I experienced. Because of course, me being the dork that I am, I fucking rope dropped ET, and then I realized it didn't open yet. Because I believe ET opens an hour after the rest of the park. So I was like, okay, what's right around the area? Oh, all right, Woody Woodpecker, right on. Let's get the credit. Credit, yeah.
Oh, Barney wasn't good enough.
And honestly, Woody Woodpecker, yeah, that's pretty much all it's good for is a credit. I do think it has some fun theming. I actually think that since the Barnstormer got the Great Goofini makeover, I think the theming on this is slightly more consistent.
Yeah, you're
Than
probably not wrong.
the Goofini theming, just because I feel like the Goofini theming, and then they still have they still have some Barnstormer elements. It's weird. It's inconsistent. Like
But
at
no
least with Woody
chickens.
Woodpecker, I appreciate the throwback, and I appreciate I have mad nostalgia for the GameCube Universal Studios game, Monkey. Mad nostalgia.
The
So and
one
of
where you
course,
pick up trash?
yes, yes, and of course, Woody Woodpecker was a big component in that. So other than that, I don't have a lot to say. Obviously, not outside of like, the first ride that I ever rode at Universal Orlando's gone. Oh well.
Yeah, still has enough time to make it onto this list.
Yeah, yeah. And I did get a rewrite of it. I am glad I got a rewrite of it just to submit. Like, yeah, the theming's
Good.
fun. All right. Let's see. Z and K says it's always the simplest ones you unexpectedly end up appreciating a lot.
Yeah, one of my later entries is definitely that.
For sure, for sure. LEB says, hi, not familiar with these parks at all, but I thought I'd see what's up. Came in at Woody Woodpecker. Nice.
Thanks for coming.
All right, number 27, Monkey.
Right, my 27 is the one I have not been on, but you made me rank. Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Okay,
I remember
hold on.
like
One second.
Yes?
I just want to put this out there. I should have thrown this out there at the start. The running gag this podcast is going to be just how high has Tiki ironically rated Fast and the Furious Supercharged? Just how high does Tiki have the balls to rank what is universally considered the worst Universal attraction that there's ever been?
Universally
I'll give you a hint.
Universal.
It's not on this list. It's not in my bottom 10.
Fun.
All right. Anyways.
But yeah, I remember like being there. It was like the last time I was at Universal, my second to last night. I'm in the Studios Park. A bit of a rough night, a little. And I'm like, okay, I've already been doing all these other things over and over, and maybe some of the lines weren't as great in other places. It's like, well, okay, what else is there to do? Fast and Furious Supercharged is like literally right there. And, I'm tempted, and I'm like, no, I'm still not going to do it on principle.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I do kind of wish I had actually done it. I mean,
did the pre-show do anything for you?
I mean, I appreciate the effort of trying to, I guess, yeah, we have live people here to try and, make it a bit more awesome, cool thing. It's sort of funny.
No,
the video
okay.
I watched.
Did you? I'm sorry. I probably should have like directed you to a specific pre-show video. Did you see Did you see the footage of like in the pre-show? Was the cast member acting like super morose and ironic?
No.
Like, no? Okay, that's what they're doing now, Monkey, and that's why I have it rated so high.
Okay.
In the pre-show now, the cast members are just totally in on the joke that this is like the worst ride in the resort. And so they are literally like playing it up as like they are as disinterested as they possibly can be. And I gotta tell you, man, it's performance art. Like, I love it. And that is
the clearly some sequel to the Jungle Cruise skippers, but is it an inverse? I can't quite figure.
It is a little bit of an inverse of the Jungle Cruise skippers. I could see that. No, yeah. So yes, Z and K, to answer all the questions that you may have, basically all the reasons I love Supercharged are wrapped up into the pre-show experiences that I had when I was there. And I might have just gotten lucky and gotten really good cast members who were like really into the gag. But yeah, I mean, that really elevated the whole experience for me. So
yeah, it's like, I won't lie, maybe this is me being cynical, but watching some of the pre-shows, it's like, oh yeah, stuff with, live hosts. This could be doing Disaster. This used to be Disaster.
Disaster is obviously a way better ride.
Well, yeah, or attraction overall. But also, it's like, I've got the feeling like looking at, I feel kind of like the way the pre-shows were set up with the main thing, it kind of made the story less coherent, like a less coherent experience overall.
Oh,
like
it's very incoherent.
Yeah, like yes, they may have, like, honestly, they may have, the integration into the studio tour maybe a bit more smooth.
You know what's weird is that, like, as bad as the studio tour version is, I actually think that the build up to it is pretty neat.
And the studio tour version is, in 3D.
Right. Yeah, that too. That being said, Monkey, I'm going to praise the party bus. When we get there, I'm going to praise the party bus as a ride vehicle. Anyways, I love the party bus.
Yeah. It looks like they added a little scene where you're going down a street before you enter the party. That's nice.
It's just as good as all the stuff they added to Skull Island Reign of Kong. That was sarcastic. Anyways.
Supercastic.
Okay. So is that all you have to say about that?
Probably.
Okay. All right, moving on. We're doing more kids' rides and off-the-shelf flat rides. It's Kang and Kodos' Troll and Hurl, baby!
Yee.
Literally, the only reason I like this at all is just because of the Hank Azaria voice acting. All right, moving on. I'm sorry, I have nothing to say about this thing. It's a Dumbo clone. Like, what do you want from me? I do like the fact I do like the theming on it. Although, Monkey, I'm sure you and I can agree on what the best Dumbo clone in the resort is. that we'll get to.
I actually don't think we will.
Really?
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. Arguably the best Dumbo clone in existence, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know that county fair version is nice.
Oh God, oh man. I remember when I first saw the county fair versions, I was like, "What? This is so much." Yeah, King and Kodos, it has a fun theme to it. I will give it that. You know, the whole idea that what is it? That they're basically like brainwashing you to go on the ride or something like that?
Was something like the ride is a trap of theirs.
Right. So, oh, I'm sorry. Does Dan do the voice of the aliens? For some reason, I thought it was Hank.
One of them is Harry Shearer. The other is Dan Castellaneta.
Okay, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know. That's my bad. I like 10 years ago when I was like religiously watching Simpsons DVDs commentaries, I totally would have known that. So yes, Hank Azaria is not involved in this attraction. I'm sorry. Hank Azaria is this crusty doll is set to evil, right? That's Hank Azaria?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the
okay.
Charles Bronson type is Hank Azaria.
Right. Yeah. It's set to evil. All right, so yeah.
That's the problem over at Supercharged. This ride is set to underwhelming.
So yeah, not much to say about King and Kodos. Like it's
damn it. Was that the problem? My problem with Rip Ride Rocket? The ride was set to rough?
I don't know. It's just there. You know, it's kind of funny because Hollywood has the super silly Funland, whatever, that Dumbo clone. And then this is King and Kodos is better than that because that genuinely looks like an off-the-shelf carnival ride for the most part.
Yeah, it's nice, but it is what it is.
Yeah. The one benefit to that ride at all is the fact that it's kind of on the cliff side of the upper lot. Anyways.
True.
Okay.
If everybody was setting their spinner rides on a cliff, would you do it too?
Jeez. Okay, so what's next on your list, Monkey?
Where are we? 26?
26.
Yes, my 26 is Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster.
Okay, we're simpatico so far. All right.
Yeah, for me, I know I've certainly had some. It's got some childhood ties to me. Maybe of like the old Captain Crunch instant win contest, or like maybe some very old commercials plugging Kid Zone. But yeah, I remember like being young and kind of at least knowing that this existed and like imagining that there was like, I don't know, maybe you pull out of the station and you pass by Woody turning a crank. That's not in the ride proper, but you know, it's still got some fun little theming. You got the fun signs, and this one touch I really appreciate, which I'd honestly forgotten about till looking at a POV, is when you're boarding it, they're like, please take your seat so we can begin your tour of the Nut House.
Yeah. That's like, fun.
They don't quite follow up on it, but I really appreciate that attempt at a theme. It's like, yay, we're touring the Nut House. This kind of ties back to my childhood expectations of this ride.
It's like baby's first themed coaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the theme is barely there, but hey, it's an attempt.
Yeah, I mean, they toot a thing when you set off, which again I'd forgotten until the POVs.
I will say it's genuinely better than Gadgets. Would you agree with that?
Undecided.
Undecided. Ooh, that's probably childhood nostalgia talking.
Maybe also some of the landscaping around Gadget.
That's fair. All right. Yay, we're touring the Nut House. God. All right. Oh my God. What if the Kid Zone replacement is going to be Batman? And what if they replace Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster with the Arkham Asylum Nut House Coaster? I know that'll never happen, but what if?
Yeah, I mean, Six Flags. I was hoping you were going to say they just make that area one big trackless dark ride. That's where you're touring the Nut House. You know, if I ever get to be in a production of Sweeney Todd, I need to begin your tour of the Nut House in there somewhere.
So what do you picture the nut house being? Basically, like a nut factory or what?
Yeah, I guess something like that. Like a factory where yeah, they're I guess making nuts, and it's like very wooden, great aesthetics.
I'm kind of thinking like maybe some Rune Goldberg machine kind of stuff
Most
going on.
likely,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Perhaps
Good
a
times.
maybe some sort of runaway railway type system.
All right, we need to
Yeah,
make this
Woody
nut
just
house
texts through
thing
the screen, and that's how you go through the screen. Nah, that wouldn't be in this version.
up. Okay, number. Jesus Christ! Please don't do that again.
Okay, I won't. That was very impulsive.
That was a genuine jump scare.
Well, that's how you can. Well, maybe they can. They could have worked it into Horror Nights that way.
Yeah, that's
But
Halloween.
no.
Oh my god, dude, a Woody Woodpecker Halloween Horror Nights. Oh, I would brainstorm the hell out of that if that was ever a concept. Oh, there's stuff you could do with that.
I've been, by the way, just throwing it out there. Yes, I have been resisting making dirty quips about the nut.
All right. My number 26 is going to be Flight of the Hippogriff, which holds the distinction of being the first attraction on this list that actually features an animatronic. Oh my god.
The hell?
And obviously, like, Flight of the Hippogriff, Nut House Coaster, exact same track.
They're not the same layout.
It isn't the same in layout, really?
Nope.
Oh, my bad. I couldn't, like, okay, is Nut
I
House
get why.
Coaster... So Nut
House Coaster is the exact same as Gadget.
That's what I was thinking. Okay. For some reason, I thought Hagrid, or I thought the Hippogriff was also that exact same.
Yes, Hagrid is the exact same as Gadget.
Oh, Hagrid is the exact same as Gadget.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. So this is like as far as layout goes, then I imagine Hagrid is probably like a mild step above Woody Woodpecker as far as like the actual
Hippogriff.
Coaster. Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's another Hagrid coaster at the park. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yeah, it's like the queue literally backs up to it.
I know, right? Okay, so I don't have a lot to say. The Buckbeak animatronic is cool. I literally only did this once for the credit. I didn't get a chance to go on it on my last trip, mostly because I didn't really venture that back into the Wizarding World except either to do Forbidden Journey or, it literally gets lost in the shuffle of that Wizarding World now that we have Forbidden Journey and Hagrid's. It's like, especially because Forbidden Journey is kind of a walk-on now, oddly enough. I swear to God it is. It's like maybe like a 15-minute...
Hippogriff is like sort of hidden in a pocket.
Yeah. So it's... I don't know. But the one time I did it, I remember, the landscaping was solid, but not like super mind-blowing. And the Hippogriff animatronic is cool, but, not as cool as something like the animatronic at the end of Slinky Dog Dash or anything like that. So it's just overall just a pretty glad ride. Not worth doing, in my opinion.
Okay, so are we at my 25?
Indeed.
Okay, this is surely going to be a bit of a hot take, and this is...
I have a really big hot take coming up.
Yeah. For all we know, this might be the same one, but... just based on my limited experience with it, I'm giving my 25 spot to the Incredible Hulk coaster.
Oh, it was the same hot take. Yeah, I have that a little further down on this list, but yeah, Monkey, I'm kind of surprised. I am not a Hulk fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the nice cue. I especially appreciate that the musical score they added. And with this one, I've only done it once per trip. So like twice overall, once before the redo, once after, oddly enough. And it's weird to contrast my two reactions of it, because the first time I did it, it was like my first day ever at Universal Orlando Resort. I think it was like maybe the 7th thing or so I did that day, and I come off it and I say something like, "Why is everything in this park so fantastic?" And then doing it this last time, maybe it's just because I was on an end seat, but it was definitely a headbanger. It's like one of those where you sort of dread coming up to like, oh god,
Yeah.
this turn's going to induce headbanging. And yeah, that roughness unfortunately is going to lower my rank. So hopefully, whenever I can get back on it, I'll won't be on an edge seat and can compare.
I'm holding my opinions for when we get to it on my list because I have a lot to say. Okay.
One Hulk, hold the opinions.
My number 25, this is where we're getting into like actual real attractions and not just like, flat rides and kiddie coasters. But it's still a kiddie ride. My number 25 is Despicable Me and Minion Mayhem. And I like this. I do. I think probably the strongest element of it is just, I do think it's a genuinely really good use of the IP as far as it actually tells an original story that fits within the franchise that's genuinely very heartwarming. I actually think the story of this ride is like by far the best component of it. But unfortunately, because I just think the ride system is just frankly, man, like especially given all the advances we've had in stuff like Flight of Passage and stuff like that. I mean, this ride system it's archaic at this point, man. It's like
it is dated.
It's super dated. I mean, it literally like you can just it is just we are just looking at a screen in a room. It's they make no attempt to have any immersion at all.
Yeah,
And
I'll have stuff to say about that
3D,
when I get to it. But...
lack of 3D as well. That's a big issue.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be talking about that. So yeah, I remember like you seemed to enjoy it more when I did it with you in Florida as opposed to Hollywood. But then again, Hollywood was like, had some difficulty getting on it before and didn't get to it till, after a long day there. And then Florida, we did it like in the morning.
It was literally the first thing we did. And we
were heading to Gringotts and you were like, oh, this has got no line. Let's do that.
And I was also we were with my grandmother as well. And that was like one of the only attractions I knew for a fact she wouldn't have a problem with. So that was another factor for doing it that early. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun ride. Like it's never a ride that I like regret going on, but I really think the technology could stand for a refresh. Even something as simple as like doing some sort of projection mapping inside the theater or something like that. I don't know.
It would be nice. Yeah, do it on this instead of that goddamn Kung Fu Panda show.
But the Kung Fu Panda show, like, that's the thing. Like, I do, from what I've seen, I haven't watched like a full POV, but I've seen some clips, and I do like the projection mapping they do in that theater, and I think they could do something like that with Minions. And like I said, I do genuinely think that the actual film is sweet. It has an adorable ending. And I actually kind of like the gag of this ending at a DreamWorks dance party. I know it's not DreamWorks, but this ride legitimately is like the one theme park ride that has like the dance party ending. And I kind of love it for that. But yeah, like I said,
Haunted Mansion puts its dance party halfway through.
What?
Haunted Mansion puts its dance party halfway through.
Right. So yeah, like I genuinely feel kind of bad placing it this low because I do think as a family attraction, it's got a lot going for it. I think it has a pretty good queue once you actually get into the building. But yeah, it's just the actual, like, the tech behind it that just feels super outdated, and that it really holds it back.
Yeah.
All right.
Now it's my turn to hold opinions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're number 24.
Yeah, my 24 is my first entry from the land that makes us say, God damn it, Flight of the Hippogriff. So, yeah, the thing that made this a little higher on the list is that it has less potential for roughness than the Hulk. And also in comparison to California, it doesn't have those weird leg restraints. The restraints are so much better on the Florida version.
I forgot that was I don't think I've ever done the California version.
But yeah, so it's got, the environment, it's got the animatronic, it's placemaking, the eggshells of praising stuff from this land.
Right.
Yeah.
Tis a tricky.
Oi.
All right, well, we can
Just
move on from that.
yes.
Okay. Number 24. This might be controversial for you personally, because I know you kind of had an attachment to this the last time you were there.
Bring it
Doctor
on,
Doom.
bitch.
Doctor Doom's Fearfall.
Fair.
It's got a really good cue, like a surprisingly good cue.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really all it has going for it, because honestly, as far as the actual space shot component monkey, it's weak. I mean, you can even see like from off ride that it's weak. It's just got a weak launch. That's my issue with it. Like,
Yeah, I can't compare to other space shots, so
that's fair. The one at Santa Cruz is way better. And honestly, that's the Santa Cruz one is I think the only other drop towers I've done. Like the Dollywood one is a drop tower. Great America ones. Yeah, I've done mostly drop towers, not space shots. But I don't know, just the
yeah, I've
pacing
never
of
done
this
drop
one.
tower either. So
Yeah.
unless you count jumping jellyfish
Did you ever do
or frog
Maliboomer?
hoppers, I never did Maliboomer.
Maliboomer, that was actually like a pretty intense space shot from what I remember. But yeah, point being, just for the actual forces, this thing, like, there's no airtime, there's no adrenaline to this. It's practically a parachute drop ride. I just didn't get any adrenaline out of it at all.
I'm just picturing Doctor Doom coming down on a parachute, like, I'm coming for you, Fantastic Four, and he misses his target. Like, oh
no! LEB says, did they have a restaurant that serves Guru's meatball sub at Orlando as well? I don't remember them having that. Is that a thing at Hollywood? I don't know.
A what? Meatball sub?
Guru's meatball subs?
Guru's meatball sub. I know I wouldn't know offhand. Like, I know they used to have like the Guru's Lab Cafe or something here, but I think they've redone it since, and I haven't been to Hollywood Universal since 2019. So, yeah, let me know when I can ride stuff that gets you wet.
LAB says, with the knowledge of California's Harry Potter land is objectively the most well put together. Let's see. No one should ever fly, ever. Human beings were not meant to fly. Oh, wait, you said hippogriff. Never mind.
Comments. Okay, so they quote some jerk, so I don't have to.
So what's your 24?
That hippogriff was my 24.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. My bad.
So my 23?
No, it's my 23.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to you then. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Ripping the Band-Aid off. Incredible Hulk. I do not get what enthusiasts see in this ride at all. I really don't. I think the one fun element on it is the launch. It is cool to have a launch on a lift hill into a zero G roll on a B&M. That's all really, really cool, for sure. The problem is literally everything after that first launch. Literally everything after the first launch. This is not an enjoyable coaster to me at all. This might be, and I do not understand how this thing, like, they completely retracted like just a couple years ago, and it is one of the worst B&Ms, man. Like Medusa has been at Discovery Kingdom for over 20 years, right? And that thing is like just now starting to get a little tiny noticeable rattle, but it's not to the point of hindering the ride at all. Like, if anything, it might make it a little bit harder to marathon than it was back in the day. I might get 3 rides on it instead of 5 rides on it. But man, with Hulk, it's just nothing about it is even enjoyable to me. I think it just kind of has that standard collection of B&M, like, okay, we're gonna do the the giant vertical loop, and then we're gonna do the dive loop, and then the zero G roll and the Cobra roll, and I just all those elements is just yet another B&M loop machine that just does all the usual tricks, doesn't do them particularly well. I do like the dives into the underground tunnel sections, but I think that the fog machines in those sections have been like very, very toned down since the park first opened. I mean, like I feel like the fog in those tunnels is non-existent nowadays. I really don't like the last section of track out in the desert, kind of you're just kind of meandering around. It almost kind of reminds me of the final section of California Screamin'. It's just kind of like off to the side and doesn't really do
That is
anything.
a good comparison.
Right? So yeah, I don't know. Like, I know coaster enthusiasts for the most part love this thing, but frankly, especially after Velocicoaster, I just think this thing looks like I would not be sad at all if they just straight up got rid of it and replaced it with another coaster that's actually on the caliber of Velocicoaster. Wouldn't miss it at all if it were to leave. All right. Woo! That's by far the hottest thing I have on this list. Okay, what's your number 23, Monkey?
My number 23 is I'm going with one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
How dare you?
Yes.
Just to be clear, this is the Dumbo clone I was talking about.
I figured. Yes, really nice theming, and I think the thing I love most about it is the song, the music, the singer. Those are a lot of fun. That's a fun element. Maybe it would have been nice if the instructions, were accurate, but I mean, thankfully it didn't bother. I wasn't too bothered by it the one time I actually did it. Da, 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 da.
All I can say about this is it's not that much higher on my list, but like I kind of made it a point to get it out of the bottom 10 just because I respect the heck out of it from a placemaking point of view.
That's fair. That's nice.
And honestly, like, this because you've seen some of my photos. It is one of the most photogenic things in the entire resort, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it is part of Seuss Landing.
Oh God, Seuss Landing photogenic. Oh, so photogenic. Yes, LED. The fish ride does have the fish book has its own ride. It's basically a Dumbo clone.
Yeah, and they squirt water at you, and they're like, "Oh, move this way, and you'll avoid it."
But they lie.
Doesn't always work.
All right. Actually, the one time I did it, I was actively trying to go for the water because, hot, humid, Florida day. All right. Let's see. What's your number 23?
That was my 23.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean my 22?
I'm sorry. What was your number 23?
Fish.
Oh, God. I don't know why I'm like mixing up the orders. Jesus. Okay. My bad. Number 22 for me. I'm sorry, Jimmy, but we got to let you go. It's your time, Jimmy. You had a good run. Race for New York starring Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, I'll give it one thing in that, like, I do think the actual simulator components on it obviously way better than Minion Mayhem.
Absolutely.
I think the 3D, I think the actual like simulation is more convincing than the Simpsons ride, but I still like the ride system of the Simpsons ride a little bit better. I think it's a little more thrilling and a little bit more unique. So we'll get into that when I rank Simpsons. Okay. My problem with this is mostly in the pre-show and just the fact that I don't. This is a very inaccessible attraction for people who are not like in the know about the Jimmy Fallon memes.
Yeah. They could, try setting stuff up better for that, the stuff that appears in the ride. Well, I thought where you were going to go with this was the whole standing issue.
I mean, that's an issue, but I'm trying to not let that be like because that's more of a me thing than an attraction thing. It's kind of a
Right.
necessary evil
Yeah.
with some of these shows. You know what I mean? And not
Mhm.
to mention, now that I kind of did the hack with the Bourne show, if I ever were to do Fallon again, I'd probably do the hack there too. Of like, hey, can you just let me in through the back? Because yeah, that's what I did with Bourne. Is I just asked the person like, hey, I really don't want to stand in that pre-show area. Can I just kind of like wait around until they start letting people in? And they just put me up in the handicap area. I was like, fucking great, awesome, you guys are
Nice.
awesome. But anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Fallon, like, I appreciate the queue, and yet I kind of don't at the same time. Because I think it's a weird kind of hodgepodge. There's like, I don't know, there's too much going on in that lobby where it's like I don't think I've ever actually seen a performance happening on that stage, for one.
Yeah.
And then you've got the games, which I just think are a really weird bad idea just because I think that's just I never like the idea of having full on like mini games and queues just because I am a big stickler for creating a bottleneck. Like you like you've probably seen me before where if someone's like just on their phone or something and they're not moving the lineup, I'm like, fucking bottleneck, man. Come on now. Come on, move the line. um So yeah, I don't know. Just all the components of this are just odd. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure that the people that are into this incarnation of the Tonight Show, like, and they actually like are. I can't see any of these characters being endearing though. That's the thing. It's like, because I was gonna say like, if this was a Conan O'Brien ride and they had characters like, like
Andy
Triumph,
Warhol.
the masturbating cow,
Well, at least
if they had,
Triumph's in the queue.
he is, yeah. But Conan also had the whole gimmick of like racing, like driving the desk around on the green screen. But I digress. So it's like I think I would definitely like a Conan attraction better, just because like Conan is way more my jam. But at the same time, I think it would have the same flaws of like it's just too niche of a concept for a broad theme park audience.
Right. Like it makes sense. Like it's a piece of synergy that makes sense because it's universal. But yeah, it could be a bit
I actually
more
really like how it fits into
accessible.
the New York area.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a
That's
really
probably the
nice building out
strongest
there.
component of the actual attraction is the facade.
Yeah, I remember you asking me if it felt like how realistic the Times Square portion felt.
Uh-huh. All right. Okay. What's next on
So
your end? I think we're down to 22
so
for
my
you.
22 is the Hogwarts Express.
Ooh, okay.
I
Okay.
I wanted to rank this below One Fish, Two Fish. I wanted the delightful music of and singing of One Fish, Two Fish to beat the video game kind of odd graphics out the window of the train. But god damn it, the rest of it is such a well-crafted environment
Yeah.
and impressive building. Like the trains, like train compartments, the train coming in, that dang queue in the London area. Like the first time I was in that queue, it's like, my god, are we still in a theme park?
Mhm.
And of course, as a piece of like transportation, it is like damn game changing how
Totally.
it's like, yeah,
Totally.
like the first time we're doing this, and it really unifies the two parks together. So it's like the damn windows, man. I mean, the damn movie.
I know. I have this a lot higher for a lot of the reasons you just mentioned, kind of like it being a game changer for I think the theme park industry at large. It's not a super memorable attraction in its own right, but I gotta like I have a ton of respect for it just in terms of its functionality. So We'll get there when we get there. Anyways, my number
Anyway.
21. I was not a fan of this ride from the first time I did it, Monkey, and you were there with me when I did it for the first time. It's Transformers. So here's the deal with Transformers. And I don't know if you realize this, but my God, it is literally the exact same layout and effects as Spider-Man.
I don't think it's the exact same layout, but yeah, there are definitely 3 moments that are taken right out of Spider-Man.
There's definitely the moment where the Hobgoblin throws a bomb at you is
Yeah, you have that.
is
You have
like,
someone jumping on your car at the beginning and the fall at the end. But then you look at simulators around, a lot of them have falls somewhere.
okay, no,
That
but
is it. That
Monkey,
is
I
a
am here
troll
to tell you, my friend. I am
visual.
here to tell you that I went on Spider-Man probably a good 6 times this last trip. So I really got a feel for it. I took a couple rides. I took a couple rides like doing the thing where I wasn't wearing the glasses and instead kind of paying attention more to the mechanisms. And I got to tell you, man, the actual layout, the actual mechanisms, especially with that finale, the finale is done exactly the same way with the mechanism. It like you I don't know. I honestly think it might be exactly the same sort of layout. Like I could be wrong, but just the movements, it all feels so similar, but obviously Spider-Man is just way better because it's just a better IP for one, and then it just has a lot better integration of physical set pieces. So I don't know, like I feel like this is a situation where, you know how I really love Dinosaur?
Hmm.
I don't think I would love it as much if it was in California Adventure because we would have
Mm,
Indiana Jones right next to it, right?
yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of I almost kind of feel like they should have kept Transformers at Hollywood and basically just let that be our version of the Spider-Man ride system.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
does work against Transformers in Florida.
Yeah. Um it's one of those rides where it's like I always forget it's even there. Like I did it once on my first day just to kind of like, like oh, there's no long line for it. Let's just go ahead and do it. And then on that ride I actually ended up going around again because I'm pretty sure some of the tech broke like about midway through the ride, so they just sent our car through another cycle. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's like I have gotten a lot of time to just study the mechanisms of both of these attractions, and by and large, they are very similar to each other, but just one just totally blows the other one out of the water.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I haven't done the Florida version as much because, oh hey, it's a clone.
Monkey, I'm telling you, it's exactly the same.
Like,
Exactly the same.
yeah, I mean the queue setup's a little different, but then otherwise, yeah, it's a thing we have
Mhm.
here. Maybe you could, do some variety in your shared attractions,
And the
Florida.
only reason it's on the top of the bottom list is because it is the one attraction in this first cluster that I do think reaches the standards of like a modern day Universal thrill ride with the technology, with the pacing. It is an exciting ride. It just is very, very, very much in Spider-Man's shadow.
Hmm.
All right, and you're number 21.
My 21, for now, it's like part of a little set of attractions that were a little tricky in rankings. So, but with this one, I'm gonna give the 21 to Popeye and Bluto's Bill's Rat Barges.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of those where I've only done it once, like on the most recent trip, and I did have a lot of fun with it. It was a really good time. I think for me, the wetness might be what lowers the ranking for me. Like, if I'm going to be that wet and it's going to kind of, have an effect on the rest of the day. So,
Mhm. Totally, I hear you. All right.
yeah, and it would be nice if the if say the oh yeah, and this is coming from someone, not all of the water effects were going the day I did it. Lucky. So yeah, it would be nice, this kind of applies to the Toon Lagoon rides in particular, like, oh, if maybe the stuff was working a bit more, like say bring back that thing of Popeye and Pluto stretching out all over you, but yeah, it's still it is a fun time, and it's got some nice music in there.
It's completely unforgiving as far as the actual water elements go. I mean, it is brutal.
Yeah, which isn't exactly my kind of thing. So.
I totally understand your placement. I do have it a little higher than you, but at the same time, I think that, like, for my money, I think it is the best attraction in its genre.
That's a fair assessment.
I would even count like stuff from overseas that I have seen. I haven't seen anything that has the same sort of scale and tells a story in quite as coherent of a way as this does.
There's something in Germany that might be neat. So
Calico, the Calico River Rapids come close. I will say that much. I love the Calico River Rapids. That's actually a really underrated ride, but I digress. Theme Park Priest says, well said, Tiki. Best ride in the genre. Indeed, indeed. Way better than Grizzly River Run. Way better than Collie. Like, I think we can all agree to that, at the very least. So. All right, folks. Well, I think this is going to be where we end things.
What about your 21? Oh, wait, no, you did your 21, right.
I did my 21.
Oh, us and our orders.
Right. So, yeah, this is going to be an exciting series to track, folks. I'm looking forward to the next couple parts. Really quick, just want to thank Theme Park Priest, LEB, Z, and K channel, and also Itchy Lot Productions. Itchy Lot, I don't know if I've seen you around before, or if you're an old timer who's changed your name or something like that.
I think he's a new guest.
Is he? Okay. Viewer. Well, I appreciate you coming on, engaging, and as you can tell, we kind of literally every person who comes on and engages with the comments, I do like make a point to involve them in the actual podcast. You're all family here. Family. That's how we're gonna end out. All right, Monkey. I don't really think you're family because you didn't rank Fast and the Furious Supercharged. You're number 1. You're not family.
Well, I haven't even done the damn thing.
You're not family.